up, jerks? So today is kind of a special day because I'm not going to work on any Miatas. Not this Miata, not that Miata, not that Miata. I'm going to work on that Miata down there. We go down to Ben's used Miata parts, and we picked up a motor for Jose's 3-cylinder Miata. On the way back, I started having crazy misfires in the Dadmobile, and it was really disheartening because that thing has been running like a tank for the last year, and I've been driving my friends everywhere in it. And I found out that is a common problem with that 3.0 V6 Duratec engine that Ford put in those Freestyles over there. That's also the same motor that was in the previous generation Taurus. The coils, the ignition coils are notoriously known to fail. I bought all new spark plugs and ignition coils, and so I'm going to do that today. I am also speaking through this new microphone that I've got here. This is called the Instamic Pro, and hopefully that's going to make me sound better. I don't know. I did a full review on it on my channel. Nobody watched it because nobody cares. All they want to see is car stuff, but that's fine. Let's get started on the Dadmobile. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to kind of show you what this car is doing. When I get in and I start it up,
I just recently went to the...
Obviously I have the engine light on there, but it's running very rough, I guess you could call it, and that's probably because 2 of the cylinders aren't really working. And you can see here when we got it, oh, it was AutoZone, then we got to check that. So cylinder 6 misfire, cylinder 2 misfire, and then a bunch of other things because we stupidly threw a can of seafoam in it to try and fix this problem, not knowing if that would do anything or not. But I have since confirmed with O'Reilly's that they ran the codes again, so I confirmed with them that cylinder 6 and cylinder 2 were misfiring. So that's what I'm gonna do. Plugs and coils. Let's put this in the garage for the very first time and open it up and work on it. All right, so here we are. We are looking at the motor. So these 3 are gonna be easy. That's just simply you pull them out and replace them. There's a little clip right here where they just come right out of there. It's super, super easy to do these 3. Now, unfortunately, the other 3 are behind this plenum here for the intake. And so that whole thing is gonna have to come off. And that means I have to take off this snorkel piece. This is the EGR. I think that's the EGR. Anyway, that whole thing has to come off. And then a whole bunch of vacuum lines come out, and then there's just a bunch of little screws. It's a bunch of little bolts there that have to come off, and then this whole thing kind of pulls away to expose the back 3 coils and plugs. I am not excited to work on the Dadmobile as much as I am on a Miata because I'm unfamiliar with it, but it seems like it's going to be an okay thing. All right, so here's how I decided how I'm going to do this. I'm going to take out all of the 8mm bolts that hold the plenum on, and then I'm going to try pulling it off, and then whatever gets in my way, I'm going to start pulling those things off. I don't know if that's necessarily the right way to do things, but that's the way I'm going to do things. All right, I think it's a little strange that these are 10mm bolts, only because they are 8mm bolts. It just seems like they're small, really small. Oh, I did forget to mention that these are, don't even need that, because these are those special bolts that they won't come out of this. They're like stuck on there, which is good because it's interesting. I can smell the gas because of the misfire. The ECU is just sending way too much gas into the cylinders. I'm going to disconnect this thing right here. I don't even know what that is. I think it's the fuel pressure regulator. That's what that thing looks like it. This appears to be the fuel rail, this silver thing going right here. Why is that not coming off? I suppose it should be said at this moment that I don't really know what I'm doing. I watched a couple of YouTube videos of how to take this stuff apart. The internet is good for things other than porn and downloading illegal songs. Easier to take the hose out of the holder than it was to take the holder off of the plenum here. Oh, how about this bolt? How about that bolt? Yeah, you gotta take all the bolts out, apparently. And then it starts to move around. Do I have to take the whole throttle body off? Oh, I don't want to do that. That's gonna suck my balls. Here's something nice. It does appear that Ford chose 8mm as the thing that's as the thing that holds everything together. This is all connected, and that kind of sucks. I'm going to disconnect this thing by pulling that little red tab in here. Doubt you can see that, but there's a little red tab, and then this is supposed to pull out. Come on, man. All right, well, here's a green tab. I'm going to pull that off. So that's now way out of my way. Okay, you pull the tab, and then there's a tiny little thing in here that you have to push. All right, this is a fuel line. I'm not sure you can see it or not. There's a fuel line that seems to be in the way, because when I come up like this thing hits that. So I really don't want to take off the fuel pressure regulator because there's a gasket on there. But I don't see how that's going to come off otherwise. Definitely not taking the fuel line off. That's stupid. Well, the fuel line's not moving, so I guess the fuel pressure regulator has to come off. All right, so at least these weren't on very tight. Of course, they do have a thing on there that lines up the bolt with the rest of it. Wow, I'm so good at this. Greg's Car Repair. So good. Yeah, who puts a bolt right under a hard line? If there's fuel pressure, this is going to be bad. Fuel pressure regulator out. And that's what was banging on this thing. Nope, something else. What? Well, let's pull this thing off. You'd move this little plastic thing down and it pops right off. All right, well, so in their infinite wisdom, Ford decided on the Freestyle to move things around from how the motor was designed for the Taurus. And one of the weird things they did was they moved the EGR valve, which used to be right around here, to back behind the throttle body, where it's nearly goddamn impossible to get to. Now I believe there's just maybe two nuts I need to remove, 2 bolts I need to remove. One is right here. Don't know if you can see my finger wiggling around there. And one's on the other side of that little post right there. So I'm gonna try to get at that. And if that doesn't work, then I don't know. I might have to reevaluate what the hell I'm doing. Well, faithful viewers, I give up. And it's not because I don't know what to do, it's that I can't do it. I've gotten this far. The only thing holding this giant plenum thing to the rest of the car so I can get behind it is, if you can see, this bolt right here. There's a bolt that goes through here, and it looks like this one. So this bolt holds this side of the EGR on. There's a bolt on the other side that holds the other side on, and it is impossible to get to. You have to get a socket back behind here. You see my finger wiggling? It's back in there. And there's just no way to do it. There's no room, and it's on there way too tight. Gorilla Robots at Ford put that on there way too tight, and I had to use liquid wrench and an actual wrench and a hammer to get the one side off that I could actually reach, and I cannot reach the other side to do any of that stuff. I tried with this, and I was kind of rounding off the bolt, and I'm certainly not going to do that. God damn it, Ford. You've made it literally impossible to remove these two things. And I'm not fucking happy about it. I'm gonna have to actually take it to a place and say, do it. And they're gonna charge me $300 for it. I know it, because this is a hard job and it's gonna take a long time and it's a lot of labor. I'm done. Anyway, thanks for watching. I failed. I didn't give up. I kept persevering. I was able to use this tiny little wrench to sort of make a good contact. Then I took this and I like stuck it on there, way down deep in there. And then I used a big old mallet right here to whack at it to break it loose. All right, so that's done. There should be no more things in the way of me taking this plenum off. So I'm going to go ahead and try that now. I just heard a gasket fall, so that's not great. I'm guessing it's the gasket for the EGR. Come on, you gotta be kidding me. I smell a lot of gas. That's a good sign, I think. It's this friggin' fuel rail and the fuel delivery. Oh my God, why do you design it this way? Why would you do this? This is insanity. All right, so the fuel line, whatever this is in the way of what would be the fuel regulator. And then on this side, this friggin' thing is in the way. So it is literally impossible to get that out of there unless I do one of two things. Remove this fuel line, which is a hard line and I don't want to do, or remove this brace, which looks really difficult. I don't want to do that either. Why would you do something like this? So stupid. So there's two bolts holding this fuel rail or fuel line on. The power steering is in the way. Now I can't get my stupid, don't get your wrench stuck in there. Here's another one back here. It's going to be damn near impossible to get to. Generally speaking, I do not put on shit shows when I'm doing the work by myself, but this has definitely been a shit show. Taking this bolt out of the hard line bracing. Now will it move enough? Yeah, it will move just barely enough, I think, for me to get that out of there. All right, so this pulls this way and up. Come on, man. Give me a ½ inch. There we go. And this should come out this way. All right, there's one little clip holding this thing on back here. Oh, that's a good sign. That's oil everywhere. Fuck it. Put this back down. This is so stupid. I'm guessing this is a 14 up here. Actually, it's a 13. That's bizarre. Because honestly, why wouldn't it be a ½ inch? Oh, it's not. Damn it. Yeah, it is. It's fine. All right, so that's gonna sit up higher. I swear to God, there is nothing making this not happen. Oh, okay, that swings out of the way. It is literally connected to things. Okay, fine. All right, I am finally now going to replace the coils and the spark plugs. Fuck. Along with the short break, you gotta have your half and half. Stay hydrated, kids. Something I forgot to do was to double check what the gap is supposed to be on this engine. I don't know. I don't even know where my gap tool is. Super convenient. Damn it. Don't make me go buy another one. I know I had one. I don't want to buy another one. Absolutely certain I had one. I remember having it and saying, oh, I don't want to lose this thing. I'll just put it here and I won't forget where I put it. But apparently, that's exactly what I did. Wait, wouldn't I have put it with the spark plug tools? That's where a smart person would have put it. Okay, smart person is not me. I am so dumb. So dumb. All right, well, that's it. I am an idiot. All right, found it. Stupid. It wasn't where it was supposed to be. Spec said it was supposed to be 0.054. You know what? This is damn close enough. It's gonna be dark by the time I finish this job because I suck at it. Ew, there's oil everywhere back here. That's not awesome. Hopefully I'm editing a shit ton of this out. So we'll pull these old ugly ones out. Come on. Crusty. This is number 2. And then this one is, I think, number 1. And farts. I should have anti-seize, but I didn't. And I think this is why you want anti-seize, because that was way too hard. Now normally you'd want to cover up these holes so that nothing falls into your motor. I didn't do that. I'm not planning on dropping anything in the motor. Go ahead and put that right back in there with no anti-seize or nothing, because, you know, I like to live dangerously. I'm gonna do my best not to cross-thread these. Okay, I'm not gonna crank them down too hard so that, you know, life. Okay, number 2. Wow, who torqued these down? You're not supposed to, I don't think you're supposed to torque down. I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to torque down spark plugs. This motor has just shy of 80,000 miles on it. And I'm pretty sure it is due for a tune-up, which is basically what I'm doing here. I think I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm fairly certain I have this shoved in too far and it won't catch. Yeah, let's try that. Yep, that was it. If the coils go in, then I'm not going to worry about it too much. Yep, coils are in. Coils on. So I'll just put that on there. Put one of these in here and call it a day. You want to be super careful not to drop these bolts into your motor, because that would be a bad day. I hate this car. I hate working on this car. 3rd coil. All right, so that's it. So now I get to put the plenum back on, which should be a joke. So let's go ahead and drop this back on. So much easier with that swung away. There we go. Seems like it's seated. Because I don't have another gasket, I'm just going to wipe this off and reuse it. I know that's not the way you're supposed to do things, but that's the way I do things. If you were a gasket, which way would you want to go in there? All right, so let me pull this off again since I know what I'm doing now. That's funny. Well, just knocked some dirt in my motor, so that's, you know, that's good. That'll be fine. That's what the oil filter's for, right? Well, I'm going to put a tiny little bit of RTV on it just to make it not fall off. How about that?
How about that?
I'm not going to recommend anybody do this. I'm only going to put it right on the screw holes to try and keep it from falling out while I put this back together. There we go. There was a time where I thought that the clutch was the worst job. There was a time I thought that brakes, changing the brake master cylinder was the worst job. I take it all back. This is the worst job ever. This is literally the worst. Whoever came up with this idea of putting this component right here, I hope burns in an eternal flame of 1,000 hells. Okay, so I have put everything back together. I didn't have any leftover bolts and replaced all the plugs and all of the coils. I'm going to start it up and see if it works, and if it does, I'm going to be pretty proud of myself. And if it doesn't, that'll be the end of the video. I'm crossing my fingers. Here we go. Well, what do you know? It's idling high, but that might be because I've had the battery unhooked for so long. Maybe the ECU has to rethink itself. But I am not hearing any misfires. I think I might have done it. I'm going to give it a little bit of a rev just to see what's what. This was the worst job I've ever done to a car, ever. I hate Ford now just for the choices that they made putting this motor together the way they did. I know when you make something, there's always going to be, any car, it doesn't matter what it is, there's always going to be some part of it that they had to tuck away in a corner that you can't get to, and that always seems to be the piece that you need to work on. What I do know is that all 6 cylinders appear to be firing just perfectly well, and I'm going to have to take this, drive it around. Not today. I've had it with this car for today. So that's it. That's how you change the plugs and coil packs on a 2007 Ford Freestyle. Not that any of you should ever own one of these things, because it's basically, they took a Taurus motor and they put it in there, but they didn't do it the way a Taurus motor goes in there. They moved stuff around and made it way more difficult to work on. So hopefully I saved myself $300 by not having a mechanic spend a couple hours doing that. Thanks for watching. Bye.